And once we have defined the list of steps that we're going to develop in order to clean and process our database, then we can continue and write our code lines and the script that we're developing with that objective. We can begin by updating the format of the dates. The planting date and harvest date. We have detected that there was a format problem there. So let's verify one here. Planting date, and right here we can see that it's being read as a category variable and that the separation is using a dash symbol. So what we are going to do is to update the format. And to do this, we're going to use the mutate function. This is one function that we saw in one of the last videos for data processing. So we're going to call the matrix, and we'll begin with the mutate function. Once again, the database that you're going to implement it in. And we can begin by updating this variable. This variable is called planting date. So I'm going to tell it that I'm going to update the original variable with this function that's called as.date. Many of you might know it. And this allows me to tell R that this variable is a date. And I also have to tell it which format I'm going to use. So we're going to use month / day. You have to have the percentage symbol to express the format, and then the year. So month, day, and year, and it's uppercase Y because the year has 4 digits, and the same thing will apply for the harvest date. So I write harvest date, and I can confirm it here. I have to confirm that the name is properly written. So I write names. You probably all know this function also. So here it is, harvest day. So it's written exactly the same way. It's important to check this because this could create a new variable with a different name. So as.date. And the same thing applies, harvest date. And then I'll tell which format to use. Percentage month / percentage day / percentage year. Then I execute it, and I can go back and revise the summary. And I'll be able to see the number format with a minimum and a maximum and the category. And disappeared in the beginning when I was modifying the database. So here it is. There's a minimum and maximum, which means that the date format is correct. So once I've done this transformation, what I can do now is to generate those variables that we wanted to transform for the date. So the final date, we wanted to remove it, but before doing so, we have to update the date to a variable that can be processed in the future. So for the planting data, we're going to take the day of the year. And for the harvest date, we're going to use the planting date in order to define the duration of the cycle. So once again, I'm going to use the maize database with the mutate function. The maize database. And in this case, I am going to define a new variable that's called cycle len to determine the duration of the cycle. And I'm going to tell it that this is going to be calculated by using the harvest date minus the planting date. And due to past experience, the experience that I've had before, I have to transform this into numerical. Otherwise, I'm going to get a format where I'll get the numbers in dates, but finally it'll have days format. So I'm going to put it here first to calculate the difference, and then those values will be transformed into numerical characters that can be easily processed. I am also going to create the date of the year. So I'm going to put the planting year, the planting year day. And in this case, I'm going to use this function. It's called yday to calculate the day of the year when the plantation took place. So in this case will be planting date. Very well, so the idea is with this new version of the database, it still has the same name, but it includes these new variables. And we can see that here it is. This is the length of the cycle. It's 29. There's some errors still that we have to correct, that we have to improve. And we also have the planting day. And there are also variables that we would like to incorporate in the future. It's also important that these variables to be included in the database revision. They were left in the end, so we should add them in the spreadsheet, just as we've named them cycle length and planting date, planting year, day. I'm going to maintain both of them. I'll save the script, and by doing this, we would finish the adjustment step for the formats of the dates and to generate the necessary transformations in order to work with that variable in the future.